The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who the police are looking for because he's a dog who may have killed somebody. Welcome, Jacob.
Right into it. Promise.
Sure.
Promise. Right, my dog. Right.
Oh, turn him back, please.
Yeah. Thanks, D-Lit. Jeez. Like 1 minute you're doing something else, you get turned into a dog, and then the police are coming after you for no reason whatsoever. Like, all I did was sniff something. That was it.
I just know there was a calico cat angry at you.
Oh, brother. Anyways, why thank you. Let me use our co-host, a man who simply was looking for revenge. Welcome, Drew.
He tasks me and I shall have him. I'll chase him around the moons of Nibia and around the Antares Maelstrom and around Perdition's flames, or maybe a gas station's flames, before I give him up.
Touche. That was good. That was really good.
It's your fault for bringing up Star Trek in the pre-show.
You're welcome. I regret nothing.
I'm sure you don't. That's right. Tonight, folks, we are still in Indie Shorts Month, and we are reviewing Jacob's 2 picks for this week, that being the short film Fueled and another one called Soft Rain. I wanted to call it Short Rain for some reason. This is not like a weird knockoff of that character from Temple of Doom. It's
Short round.
Yeah, it's not Short Round. It's Soft Rain.
Soft rain.
Soft Rain. Anyway, are you ready to jump into this thing?
Yes.
All right. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the short films Fueled and Soft Rain. Listener discretion is advised. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's go with which one do you like better?
I'm good with both.
Okay. Let's go with Soft Rain first.
All right. Well, Soft Rain was created by Omen Studios. It was written and directed by Sacha, sorry, I said that wrong. Goedegabure. My apologies for that particular mispronunciation. And the only trivia I have for this is the pink puffballs that were rain and represented rain in this. They remind me of tribbles. Don't feed them. Literally, my thought when I first started seeing these things fall is like, wow, this planet is doomed. And they're remarkably okay with it.
They're not mogwabs, at least.
At least they're not mogwais, yes. No, I'm saying don't feed them at all. That's
true, because they multiply anyway.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Yeah.
Which it's always after midnight, isn't it?
That's true, technically.
Anyways. So yeah, that's what I've got for the information on this one. What do you got?
So Soft Rain, there's no IMDb.
I noticed.
You can watch it on YouTube. Production wise by Omni Studios, directed by Omens Studios, directed by Sasha Goder.
Yeah, you're having the same problem with the name I did.
Yeah, and I'm the one with the reading problem here.
I'm sorry. It's just like there are too many consonants in this name.
Yes.
No offense, man. It's just this is not my native language to try and speak this name. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Distribution, we don't know, is released on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Release date was December 10th, 2023. Its runtime is 7 minutes and 3 seconds. And that's all I've got for stuff.
So one thing I like about this is, and I'll admit, I'm having a hard time telling if this is just really well done CG made to look like stop motion, or if it's actually stop motion or even claymation. It kind of looks like claymation.
It looks like claymation, but it's not. It's actually CG.
I can tell by looking at it.
Yeah,
that's how good the CG is.
Oh yeah.
I guess I could have noticed when with the pink puffballs, because those are definitely not clay.
Yeah.
But I was watch I love the animation on this. And I love how while it does not tell you precisely what's going on, because you don't need to know, it's got a good message of uh you don't know what people are going through.
No, you don't.
And it's better it's better to be nice and to be kind to people instead of just assuming they're angry, hurtful people or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what people are going through.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. And I love how well the pink puffballs actually worked as water even before we actually see the rain.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are we talking just going into spoilers or non spoilers?
We're already in spoilers. I already gave the warning.
All right, yeah, okay. So
general discussion.
What I loved is what I wrote is like all compressing depression. Is like this.
You can tell it by the look on his face.
The whole like the way his mannerisms, the way he walks, the fact to be like he walks in front of the mirror, he looks at it for a second, drops his gaze, and then opens the door. And all it is just like a flood of pills.
Yeah,
pill bottles. And the way like he walks down the stairs and the rain starts.
And you get the feeling when you sorry to jump in on you, but you get the feeling that that's all his past prescriptions and none of them worked.
That's true. Because he takes a handful and just downs them.
Yeah. And they all have that ridiculous little smiley face that you just want to murder.
Yeah.
Even as someone who's not going to depression, it's like, I want to murder that smiley face. This is not Walmart.
So as a person who has mild depression, be like, I can somewhat relate with this character because some days you just get enough.
I don't knowingly suffer from depression.
Yeah.
And I do say it that way because I've never been diagnosed with anything.
Yeah, I have.
But I would not be surprised. Hey, everyone does get in the funk every once in a while, but
they do.
I think I can at least commiserate with the guy being in a continual funk for a couple days.
Yeah. And it's like the fact to be like he's standing alone dish, be like he feels like no one wants to be around anybody. But then you have this bubbly pink character show up and like kind of is very much taking by the arm. Hey, we're gonna have fun in the whole bit. And I love the fact to be like he kind of just starts to enjoy the rain.
Yeah.
And when like the bus rolls by, it's like, oh, I miss this. Now I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Be like even in those moments of bright sunshine, hopeful moments of joy and gladness, be like there's still going to be those little moments where you're just going to sink down to the bottom again.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a very all-encompassing kind of story of a guy who's dealing with depression, and he's going throughout his day. He has this one little spotlight of like hope and joy with this woman who is trying to lift up his spirits, and she does a good job for about a moment, and then his life goes back to normal, and he goes through the drudgery of the day and be like, I was hoping for more of like a happy ending where it'd be like, he kind of comes out of his funk, he comes out of his depression for a moment, but he doesn't. And I found that it's like, okay, that's kind of the reality of depression in a way.
I mean, the most depressing part of this when I was watching it was when, she gets on the bus and he's following after her. And I kept thinking, and they're going to sit next to each other, and this is going to be a slightly happy. And he walks past her and sits behind her.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's hurtful, but I also understand.
Yeah.
I so understand. Yes, that was a nice, bright, happy thing, but I understand now that the spell, quote unquote, is broken.
Yeah.
Why he's back where he was, and they both have to move on.
Yeah. And it's just like it's one of those it's
never a quick heal.
No, it's not. Depression never is. And but like there again, if you are dealing with depression, please go to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And there again, you are not alone in depression. And like even the Bible says, be like cast your cares on me, and don't be anxious about anything. Well, in knowing that I do have mild depression, be like sometimes like anxiety comes upon you and it's hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
But I think relying on my strength my strength alone is nothing, but when it comes to Christ, relying on his strength is far sufficient than mine. So when it comes to depression, it's more just relying on something stronger than you, and that's for anything, myself included, is relying on my relationship with Jesus Christ to get me through those things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you try to do anything by yourself, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Now, some people, it's, oh, just work with pills, go talk with people. Okay, that's all grand and dandy, but eventually that's not going to work. It's not going to work. But finding your hope in something, you're finding your hope and security, like even in darkest times. But like, you have some of the greatest theologians who've had depression.
I said that just because you found God, though.
Yeah.
Don't go expecting that to cure your depression.
No, of course
that's not going to be how it works. I do want to throw that out there. You're still going to be fighting that the rest of your life. It's just you're not going through it alone.
Exactly.
Even when you feel like you're physically, you're alone, you're not alone.
Exactly. Believe me,
and definitely, as hard as it is, build that support network.
Yeah, exactly.
A church group is a good
church group.
Good for that.
Yeah.
I don't have my phone muted.
No. But this is a great example of depression, and it ends on that sour note where he's still back at his same place. He just hasn't grown. And one of the things I learned, I
don't know, it felt obviously he's not cured.
No,
you're not going to do that, but it does at least feel like it's not as bad as it was when he got up.
So this is a great example of depression, that you have a character who's struggling with something, but like you said before, be like, there's something there.
Yeah. It's obviously not, he's still depressed.
Yeah.
That's not gone.
Yeah.
But it's almost like he's a little bit of that weight has been taken off of his shoulders.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. But like a little bit. It's a little easier. And let's face it, the one of the parts I really felt for the guy.
Yeah.
Was when he gets home, closes the door, and stares at his umbrella. It's like, I could have used you earlier today. But then that does cause him to think, but if I had that, I wouldn't have had that nice moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Granted, so there's no voice acting in this whatsoever.
No, there's not.
So all of this is being told solely through animation.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So yeah, that's probably my favorite part of this.
Yeah.
It's like it has this perfect encapsulation of depression, and you have a character who's obviously going into depression, and he has this one little bright moment, and it changes his day very slightly, and he gets home, and it's like, things aren't so bad. And like you said before, it's the idea of you don't know what people are going through. Just to treat them with kindness and treat them with respect, and try to brighten their day up, even though they may not like it, but at least try.
And I did like how during the quote unquote credits sequence, we saw her perspective of the events. And it's like, okay, that's nice. It's like, this is not just a one person show.
Yeah.
You actually do see how she approached it. And she maybe not have been going through a great morning, but she was kind when she needed to be. Anyway.
Exactly. So yeah. What would you rate this?
I'd give it an 8.5.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm not rating it higher than that is, I don't know, a part of me wishes for more context in a way.
Fair.
More of what's going on. Granted, I also understand why we don't have that.
Yeah.
But there's just this film does what you're supposed to do with a show, is make you feel like you want more.
True.
In a way. Granted, we don't get more, and we're not going to get more, but like you said, I also wish we'd have gotten a little bit happier ending. But
yeah,
we still got a pretty decent ending for this.
Yes, agreed. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'd be like, I thoroughly enjoy this. I'd be like, animation's like brilliant, like usual. I wouldn't say usual, but this is the first time I've seen it. It's brilliant. The storytelling is excellent. The mannerisms and like the modes of the characters are great, and the fact that like depression is like a real thing, and you have a character who's really depressed, but he runs into a woman who shows him kindness and wants to brighten up his day, even though it doesn't go exactly the way she planned it. She changed his life a little bit.
Yeah,
which is always a good thing.
So that's our thoughts on that one.
That's our thoughts.
Go
So-
check it out on YouTube.
Exactly.
Next, we're going to talk about Fueled by Killed the Cat Productions, which is made up of Jason Parr, Jing Zhonghu, Selena Liu, Alex Deadman Wiley, Rebecca Derice, Michelle Howe, Fawn Chan, Subin Jang, Starlin Yu, Young Hak Jang, Jisoo Kim, Georgia Quinn, Emily Zhu, Aido Hayashi, Daniel Blake, Catherine Ivanov, and Aruna Kiani. All right, trivia for this. All I've got is that the pig/gas station attendant is reading a magazine named Playboy.
Yes, I noticed that. That was funny. That was funny.
What do you got for info and stuff?
Oh my gosh! All right, so it actually has an IMDb.
Yes.
It is a 7.6 out of 10. It's available to watch on YouTube. Production was like Kill the Cat Productions. It was released on December 1st, 2021. Its runtime is 9 minutes.
All right.
All right.
Murder most foul. No, I'm kidding. This is actually a revenge story, and
Yes.
how revenge is not always a good thing. In fact, I think it's never a good thing.
No, it's not.
It drives you to become what you're not, what you're revenging against in a lot of cases.
Yes.
I actually watched this twice because I watched it again like yesterday when I was getting ready for the show. And okay, first off, the animation on this is beautiful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's all 2D vector-based animation.
Mhm.
There is so much that is shown but not said
Yes.
that helps you. And there's nothing really said. I think like
Yeah.
the one line is the 911 operator at the very end.
You hear the
Outside of some sound effects of weeping and gasping for breath and things of that nature. But the lighting on
beautiful. Oh my gosh.
and the transitions between the different scenes showing the happy life she had before this event that caused her to decide, because this brings the question to me. She's going out obviously and looking for the Doberman's hideout.
Yeah,
that's what she's doing
exactly.
When she runs out of gas,
Mm-hmm.
what was her plan when she found this place?
That's a very
Was she going to slam open the door? Hello, I am a calico kitty cat. You killed my husband. Prepare to die.
Excellent. Bill, I don't know. Be like it's more like this was a very fueled.
Yeah,
you know,
fueled by revenge. That's
Fuel-
and she's out of fuel gas wise.
Yeah, and she's out of gas and the whole bit. But I think it's more she's driven to discover where he's at, where she can at least know where he's at, or know where this this foul villain who murdered.
Right, and maybe she thinks when she finds it, she's gonna call the police and say, I found the hideout for the guy.
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's incredibly dangerous. And it's gonna, and as we see, it's gonna get her into worse trouble because she's so focused on finding this guy. She runs out of gas in the middle of nowhere.
Conveniently next to a gas station in the middle of nowhere.
Not next to it. She is like across a field from it because it's an S curve. Strangely enough, that doesn't look like there's a need for an S curve, but whatever. And there's the gas station is on the paper map. Can't imagine. I don't remember any paper map I ever had that said there's gas here.
Yeah,
even if that, especially gas stations in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
but that's all beside the point because it's just like this is short. Storytelling saying this is what's going on.
So gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
so incredibly well done.
I ain't sure I could nitpick the logistics of this thing, but that's not the point.
No.
Especially since I'm still not sure time period on this.
No,
because the Boar's phone is from the 80s. Her phone is from the 90s. The gas station is from the 50s.
That is true.
And apparently
it's a timeless setting.
It lets you have gas without ringing it up.
That is true.
Those numbers never moved when she pumped that gas into that can.
That is true.
I don't know how that works.
No.
Anyway, that's a mild thing.
Yes.
And like I said, that I could nitpick this thing to death logistic wise, but that's not the point, because the point is she's driven for revenge. She gets into a desperate situation. Things go south. She's trying to get gas for her car.
Mhm.
The boar catches her, tries to stop her, and then to call the police. And because the stupid boar is smoking on the outside of a gas station next to a no smoking sign, when she attacks him with a glass bottle, the cigarette falls out of his mouth, hits a thing of gas, which I don't think it works exactly like that, but whatever.
And blows up.
And blows the entire
station
up. And then she runs back with a can full of gas, a jerry can full of gas that did not catch on fire, despite the fact it's missing a lid. It sounds like I'm bashing this thing.
It sounds like you are.
I am so sorry, but it's just like I'm watching this and going, if I were sitting in the audience for this and I was critiquing it for a panel for an assignment, these are all the stupid things I bring up, because it's like, that's not how stuff works. But I actually do love it, because like I said, the animation is good, the storytelling makes is great in it. It's and the bit I like the most is when she gets back to the car, gets the car cranked. You see the
wanted sign,
the police sketch, tear off enough that her eyes are now visible in the mirror, and the light from the burning gas station is reflecting off of the whites of her eyes, and so it looks like she's him.
Yeah,
which is like what spooks her out of this, and then she does the right thing after she's done so many wrong things. And calls 911 and walks back to, I'm assuming, turn herself in.
Yeah.
Once everything's said and done. It's a beautifully well animated thing. And in the moment, all these little nitpicks I've brought up, I didn't notice.
Yeah. Except
for the fact, like, why does this jerry can not have a spout to throw in the gas tank? There's no way you can pour gas like that into a car. The safety catch on the car would keep it. So that means it's the 60s. I get it. I'm sorry. It's just these are the little things that, now that I'm talking about it and we're on a podcast, and I'm going, well, here's problem A, here's problem B, here's problem C, here's problem D. It's like, here's all the little pile of little things that didn't matter at the moment, but now that I'm talking about them, they're all coming out.
It's all coming back to me now.
It's you know the thing.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about. It's like, I loved it. Why do I act like? Why do I sound like I hate it?
Because you're critiquing something.
And I'm noticing here's all the little issues.
Yes,
the little issues that shouldn't matter at all.
Yes,
because it's not important. But at the same time, I'm going, to quote Han Solo in The Force Awakens, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
So
anyway, your thoughts. I've already drug this thing. I loved it through the mud. You talk about it.
So speaking of using a movie reference, so I titled my like is Becoming What You Seek. And so you have this woman who has lost the love of her life, her husband, to a robbery gone wrong, who has murdered her husband, and now she's out for revenge. She's out seeking the man who murdered her husband and wanting to find out why. And so she's gone on this amazing journey, and she's found herself in the middle of nowhere, and she's at such a desperation. She only has a quarter to her name because she's exhausted everything in order to try to find this guy. Like, she has the police sketch hanging from her rearview mirror. She's obsessed with this character. She's got to find him. She's got to find out why and bring him justice or something. So, and then be like, it's just, and then she runs out of gas. She's got a quarter of her name, walks to the gas station, Now, granted, she could have told the attendant and be like, hey, I ran out of gas. I have no money. Can I pay for some gas? I'll come back and pay you. But that didn't happen. Be like, she's so driven, she has to get back to her car to go find this guy. And so she does all these, starts be like this little sin here, this little sin here, this little sin here. And it just it just trickles like gas, trickles in, to the climax of where the attendant confronts her, takes the gas station away. She realizes that she needs that gas in order to take revenge for her husband. So she attacks the attendant with a broken bottle, obviously kills him or hurts him enough where the explosion goes off.
Yeah, and it's never shown what actually happened to the attendant.
Exactly.
It's assumed he's dead.
Yeah. He became like bacon.
He's
roasted.
He squealed like a pig.
Oh my gosh. But the one thing I love about this entire thing is, like you mentioned before, where our main character, she gets back in her car, and this time, like you've seen the sketch kind of just rip, which is beautifully animated.
Yeah.
So she gets in her car, she's really excited, and she just goes to look, turn it on, and car fires up, and it's ripped just enough to where she looks in the rearview mirror, and her eyes are the exact same way his, and she's become him. She's murdered someone,
and it breaks her out of that revenge.
Exactly.
That spell of revenge.
Exactly. And to quote the Dark Knight, either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And in this way, she's become him. She's become the man she has been hunting. She's become the man who killed her husband. And it breaks her. It'd be like once you realize you have done something graven, you've done something so evil, be like, to the point where you would have someone be like, who has no remorse for what they've done, they're not going to care. Where this character actually does have remorse for what she's done. She's come to the realization, oh my gosh, I've done this terrible thing. It breaks down. And, like you said, she does the right thing and goes back. And I just find it so beautiful that she walks back and you get this, like 911 emergency call. And she can't say anything. She's so in awe of what she's done. It's not like, oh my gosh, look at the work I've done. But it's more the brokenness of this character. That'd be like, yes, I'm going to do the right thing. Unlike the suspect who murdered my husband. And I find it so beautiful. And you're just left with this scene of absolute carnage and the 911 operator trying to get her back on the line. And it's so beautiful, but so tragic at the exact same time. Yeah. Because she's so driven by revenge, she becomes what drove her to this. And it's just beautiful. So yeah, I love it. Yeah. It's so good.
What are you rating it?
A 9.5.
I'm probably gonna do about the same. I know it sounds like I had so many issues with
this
it.
Thing to shreds.
But it's one of those things. I looked at it. You know how it is when you find you actually like something and you're paying a lot more attention to it. You see more of its faults.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't help but bring those up because it's like so many of this pile of little things that doesn't matter. But other than that, it is a 9.5. It is beautifully animated and it's beautifully told. This story of revenge that ultimately goes wrong.
Yes, agree.
So yeah, that brings us to the end of our reviews.
So what are we reviewing next?
They're
your picks.
It's my picks. We are reviewing two shorts from the website homestarrunner.com. Specifically, two Cheat Commandos shorts called Shopping for Danger and Commandos in the Classroom. A PSA.
A PSA. Nice.
Technically, it's a PSA.
Wow.
It's not a public service announcement that will do us any good, but it is a PSA. So yeah, join us next week for that. Join us on the other side of the bumpers and the ad reads and all that other cool stuff, and we'll get to talking about what we've been watching, some news, and a little bit of Evangelion.
Yes.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out the Retro Rewind podcast. On there, every other week, you can join the podcast as they travel back 15 or more years along the entertainment space-time continuum in their mission to review movies and games, establishing what is still worth your time today. Expect fun banter and trivial insights from Francisco Paul and a rotating panel of guest hosts who are all at a time. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulJPowers.com, and Edwin Gonzalez. If you would like to hear your name shouted out on the show, some bonus art from Jacob, uncut episodes, and, as of right now, 3 spots still available for our patron picks where you can make us review something within reason. You can donate to us on Patreon. So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Let's pull the tablet back up. And what have I been watching? Oh yeah. I watched a show that came on like in the early 2000s. It was a show that lasted 1 season, and I was watching something on YouTube that was like, oh, these sci-fi shows that came on in the 90s that you probably don't remember. And they mentioned Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century, which I had not thought about that show in years.
Right.
I was like, whoa. I just be like, deja vu. I remember this now. And it's like, okay, so I pulled on YouTube, and sure enough, they're all on there. There's like 24 episodes. And I pull up the first episode. I'm like, wow, this is really 90s. Like, I think it's 90s. I think it's like late 90s cheese. And it is like the storytelling, everything that apparently Moriarty, Sherlock Holmes' greatest rival, has returned. So they have to bring back Sherlock Holmes from 200 years ago. And apparently he's been sitting in cold storage or lukewarm storage. He's just sitting there in a box, just waiting for someone to freeze him.
Right.
And it's just like the animation, it's done very well. It's 90s computer animation for cars and the whole bit. But I watched the first episode. I thought it was interesting for strictly animation wise. You watch the second episode, and it's just like, wow, there went the budget.
Yeah.
But I turned off after that. And I've been watching a little more of Inuyasha. I think I had some downtime this week at some point. And in between the sniffles and the coughs. And I watched a little more Inuyasha. And it's Inuyasha. It's great. I mean, like I've enjoyed Inuyasha. I've never watched the entire series, so I'm kind of just slowly filtering through and see what what the end game is.
That would be in the final chapters, and now Princess Half Demon.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
So out of curiosity, I don't know how far through the show you are, if you're anywhere near the end of the original anime.
I think I'm in season 5, I think. Could be wrong.
You're pretty far along then.
Yeah, I'm in season 5.
And if I remember correctly, this is one of those 52 episode season shows.
Yes.
So it's literally year round.
Yes.
Because it's technically a shonen.
Yeah,
even though it's
shonen.
Even though it's a love story.
Yeah. Yes.
But when you get to the end of Inuyasha,
season 3, episode 25.
How many seasons is it?
There's 7 seasons.
Okay. So when you get to that end, and I assume then you go into the final chapters or whatever
final chapters.
The end of Inuyasha is called, because I know it's technically a separate anime.
Yeah.
I assume you're going to watch those.
Yeah.
When that's done, are you going to dip your toes into Princess Half Demon?
Maybe if it's dubbed.
It should be.
I don't know. We'll get there. I'll get there when I get there, and we'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Is that all you've been watching?
Yes.
So I've watched some Star Trek.
Of course.
What else have I watched?
That's a good question. More Star Trek?
I haven't actually had a chance to watch a lot this week just because it's been busy.
Yeah.
And I may get distracted by other games like Final Fantasy 14.
No. Say it's not.
Admittedly, it's been a busy week, even though I'm finally back to like a more normal work schedule.
Yep.
But I haven't quite got back around to my normal watch schedule. I'll put it that way.
Right.
So, I was going to watch Monarch Legacy of Monsters tonight before we started, but I ended up needing to wait on that because somebody else hadn't finished it yet. Who technically, I don't know if Apple allows that now that I think about it. I probably shouldn't mention it.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm not the only person watching on my account, is all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Roger.
Got it. Anyway, so yeah, we're other than that, I say I hadn't watched Echo yet, even though it's out.
Yeah.
All 5 episodes of it.
And apparently you have to change your rating setting when you
I already have mine changed because I was going to watch through the Netflix stuff after it got moved to Disney Plus. I guess I really hadn't watched anything else, to be honest.
Okay.
So yeah. So what do we got in the news?
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, D-Lit. And going into a little bit of the news. So Netflix and DreamWorks Animation has shown new light on an upcoming animation feature called Orion and the Dark, debuting the official trailer and announcing the voice cast based on the book by Emily Yetland. I'm probably mispronouncing it. The story is written by Charlie Kaufman, directed by Sean Sharmitz, probably mispronouncing it. He directed Trolls Holiday in Harmony and Pink Pelinka. Let's see. The film will premiere on the streaming platform starting February 2nd. The summary: Orion seems a lot like your average elementary school kid, shy, unassuming, harboring some secret crush, but underneath his seemingly normal exterior, Orion is a ball of adolescent angst, completely consumed with a fear of bees, dogs, the ocean, cell phone waves, murderous guttural clowns, falling off cliffs, but all what he fears most, the thing he fears of is what confronts him in a nightly, the dark. So when the literally embodiment of his worst fears pays a visit, dark whispers Orion whistles whisk Orion away on a roller coaster ride across the world to prove there is nothing to fear of in the dark. As the unlikely pair grow closer, Orion must decide if he can learn to accept the unknown, to stop letting fear control his life, and finally embrace the joy of life. So this is what I'm going to read here is going to be the box office for the last week. So Disney Wish opened domestically on December 22nd and came in third of the Thanksgiving spread. Upping its worldwide gross to $209.5 million in its 7th week, which is not a good thing for a Disney movie. While the old year has closed, this milestone places the musical fantasy at the fourth highest grossing animated film of 2023, moving it up to Raking Pass, Trolls Band Together, Paw Patrol, The Mighty Movie. To date, Wish has picked up 62 million domestically. Meanwhile, Illumination's year-end release Migration was able to hit a big $150 million milestone at the global box office. The movie, which was released December 22nd in the United States, is continuing to draw families to theaters across the world. Directed by French Helmer Benjamin Rayner is the who is best known for his 3D hand-drawn pics such as the Big Bad Fox and other tales of Everett and Celeste. I'm going to butcher the name. I apologize. The film has made over $150.7 million to date. Domestically, the film has grossed over $77.8 million from 3,838 theaters. While the film doesn't initially did as well as Illumination's other franchise, opening at number 3, it has bounced around the number 5 spot in Norm Air since its debut and built a slow but steady fan base globally, especially since the next big studio animation movie, DreamWorks Kung Fu Panda 4, won't arrive into theaters until March 8th. And the source for this article is from Deadline, Collider, and Box Office Mojo.
Okay.
So that is all I have, unless you have something else.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of Evangelion.
Card Captors, a mystic adventure. Card Captors, a quest for all time.
She is the one named Sailor Moon.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon.
It's time to do.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon Darla Champions. Yayo, yayo, ho ho. Set sail for One Piece.
Yo, Shinji, get in the robot. Your dad loves you, get in the robot. The cockpit's too small for a grown-up. Kick some butt in your robot. Emotional damage.
Once again, that's Stephen He doing the emotional damage bit at the end. And apparently I forgot once again to look up where the Lost 4 Kids dub thing came from. Hang on, I better look that up. I can't do that 2 episodes in a row.
Yes.
This won't take long. That would be Eagle 8 Burger.
Eagle 8 Burger.
Yeah, he did it 8 years ago.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. Neon Genesis Evangelion, this episode, Dance Dance Revolution. No, that's not the name of it.
No, it's not.
Mind matching moment, or both of you dance like you want to win. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Anyway, this episode was directed by Seiji Mizushima and written by Hideaki Anno and Akio Satsukawa. For the summary for this one, a quick attack against a new angel by Asuka and Shinji ends in an embarrassing defeat when the angel suddenly divides itself. Shinji and Asuka undergo learning a series of synchronized dance movements as per a new team-oriented strategy.
I love this episode.
There is no new cast in this episode.
Nope.
Getting into the trivia, we still see the for angel appearance, we still have the corpse of Ramiel.
Yes.
Still clogging up the streets of Tokyo 3. And we have the dual angel here named Isfafel. Isfafel, I think is how you say that. This is most likely this angel is most likely based on an angel from Islam who blows the trumpet to signal Qiyamah, or the Day of Judgment.
Okay.
This is the only episode in which Toji wears his school uniform. He wears the uniform without an undershirt when first seen, but wears a purple undershirt when he and Kensuke go to Misato's apartment to check in on Shinji and at their subsequent party there.
Uh-huh.
When Asuka in Unit 2 jumps onto a building to attack Israfel, I apparently miswrote it earlier. It's Israfel, which sounds surprisingly a lot like Israel. I wonder if the Islams were trying to say something. The Islams?
The Islams?
That's not a word.
Muslims?
Muslims? I don't know. I'm guessing here. Anyway, when she jumps onto that building to attack Israfel the first time, the building sign reads Studio Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
A Gainax subsidiary involved in animating the movie Otaku no Video, which is about making anime.
Okay.
And credited for animating portions of episodes 8, 9, and 11.
Okay. So part of this episode.
Yes. Although Asuka is normally unmovable and refuses to show signs of weakness, to the point that she will stick her head in a freezer to prevent herself from crying later on. She cries in her sleep while mumbling about her mother.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
Yes.
This is the second episode in which Shinji refers to Asuka as Soryu. Starting in the next one, he starts referring to her by her first name because they've grown more accustomed to living together by that point, and she is no longer new to Tokyo 3.
Yes.
Fly Me to the Moon. The version in this episode is the Asuka Bossa Techno.
Interesting.
And also, you'll noted the background was still red.
Yes.
This version is sung by Asuka's Japanese voice actress, Yuko Miyamura.
Okay.
So, you like this episode apparently a lot.
Yes, I do.
I can imagine.
Well, this episode, like, again,
we do finally feel like we're not going to take this seriously for a couple episodes.
Yeah, it's nice and whimsical and the whole bit, which I really enjoy. I enjoy where you get Asuka and Shinji actually working together, and they don't work well together because Asuka
they're entirely different.
This is mine. Be like, I'm going to get the glory, and they just don't. They're supposed to work together. It fails miserably, and then they have Asuka move in with Misato and Shinji.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is not going to be interesting at all.
And she gets a culture shock
a little
by
bit.
the fact that not all of her stuff is going to fit in that apartment.
And there's no locks.
There are no locks on those doors.
Oh my gosh. But it's so funny because they're going to be like their friends show up, haven't seen them in days. And then they pop in the door. It's like, wait, what are you both doing here? And they pop up and they're both wearing matching outfits, which are girls' outfits, which I found hilarious. And
we've got to continue to emasculate Shinji.
Yeah, exactly.
From the last episode,
of course,
or was it 2 episodes?
Two episodes ago,
where he was in her Ava with her.
Yes,
wearing the red.
That was the last episode.
That was the last episode.
That was the last episode.
Okay.
So, you get all these they're talking in sync and they're having so you get through these the one I love because you start to see a little bit more who Asuka really is, who her personality is like, oh yeah, I can do everything, I don't need help, or blah 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 blah. And so they're trying to do this sync dance and just can't. She's blaming Shinji the entire time. And then Ray, just being this cool-headed little doll character, is like, okay, I'll do this. And walks, and they're just perfectly in sync in the whole bit, and Asuka loses it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, be like, no, I'll do it. I can't lose. But that plays so well into what happens later in the series. But it is done so well. It's just like these characters have to work in sync. And the scene that was like the coolest to me was, they have to share the same room and the whole bit, which is like taboo, but it's more you have to work together. You have to sync.
Well, Misato's in there too. So.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You do see Misato in the room. So, the point where Misato's gonna be for the day, and they have to be like, okay, they're by themselves, and it's okay. Be like, Asuka is gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go sit. I'm gonna go. This is my room. You come across this room, you die.
Mm-hmm.
And so Shinji, tab character who doesn't sleep, hears Asuka go to the bathroom, thinks nothing about it, and then she falls asleep in front of him. And of course, she be like, he's being a guy. I'm emphasizing this for a reason,
Yeah.
people. Like he's a guy, he has urges just like any guy his age would. And be like, he's got a girl his own age who
Inches from his face.
and be like, oh, I'm gonna kiss her. Oh, I'm attracted by this. And like when she like says mommy, and it's just
Mhm.
like that, just be like he turns over there and he's just like, it's like he's like all kinds of emotional about it. And I can't remember what he says. It's something. It's something. But I just love that moment. But then obviously they get their sync right together and they're able to defeat the angel, which I found very interesting. And obviously because Asuka is so fascinated with, like, she wants to go on this trip and she's trying to get, oh, what's the guy's name?
The trip is the next one.
Oh, the trip is the next one. That's right. Never mind. I'm getting these two confused. But this episode's so well done. It's so well done because you're starting to get understanding of who Asuka is, and I love that we have this brief time period where Shinji is just a regular dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm an Ava pilot. I have friends. I have a normal life. I can joke around with people. I can be a normal person.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then the crap hits the fan later. But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
I love this episode. It's so great. And we get one little moment where Ray's in there for a moment, and then it's just like, oh, okay, here's this level. Okay, let's go here. It's
Mhm.
fun. So yeah, I love this episode. You?
This is a fun episode. Like I said, this definitely feels like we are moved away from the dark, serious, important, artsy episodes,
Oh, yeah.
and now we're just going to have Dance Dance Revolution with giant robots. Granted, I mean, this, I think in any other anime would technically be considered filler,
Yeah.
but I think it does have some moments that sound like they're going to play out later, but that will come when it comes.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I mean, this is it's not a bad episode. It's just like I'm at a point now where it's like, okay, this is fun, this is cool, and this is how we're defeating the monster for the week. Okay. For the most part, it could have been. I understand why this is like one of the first episodes that the movies skipped and changed.
Yeah.
Because I know it's at this point we're different from what the rebuild movies
Oh
were
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
But I do understand why, because like this is like it's just like almost nothing is happening of much importance. Yes, an angel attacks.
Yes.
And they have to go defeat it. And this is interesting that the angel can split itself into two creatures
Uh-huh.
that then they have to attack in tandem. And we are still at the point now where we're still trying to figure out how the Avas are going to fight together.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, we still don't have is Ray's Unit 0? Is that the name of her
she's
Ava?
Unit 0.
We don't have hers back in the show yet.
No.
I assume at some point we are.
Yeah.
But we've only seen it for like one, maybe 2 episodes.
Yeah. 3 at most.
3 at most.
3 at most.
I mean, she's had her Ava's been almost as much as Ray as Asuka has. But yeah, I mean, this was a good, interesting, fun episode. I'm looking forward to seeing what we learned in this episode actually goes forward. It's actually the next episode I think I was more interested in, strangely enough.
Yeah,
because I'm going to have some complaints. I'm going to have some complaints at the in the trivia. Just kind of minor grumbles.
water be like lava is not water.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But yeah, this is an interesting episode, and I'm curious how this is actually going to fit into the whole story as a whole instead of just this one random goofy episode.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Magma Diver. Magma Diver
Yes.
is literally both names. This is only the second episode. There are only 2 episodes in Evangelion, which the English and Japanese name are the same.
Yeah.
And this is the second one. The first one was Angel Attack, the first one. This episode was directed by Tsuyoshi Kaga and Hiroyuki Ishido, and written by Hideaki Anno and Akio Satsukawa. In this episode, banned by Masato from going on the class trip to Okinawa, Shinji and Asuka catch up on their studies. An embryonic angel is found inside a volcano, and Asuka volunteers to carry out the perilous task of retrieving the creature.
Of course.
There is no new cast in this episode. Getting into the trivia, the angel we have appearing in this episode is Sandalphon. Sandalphon is named for the angel who, according to Kabbalism, plays a major role in determining the sex of a human embryo.
Interesting.
Masato is seen drinking Boa brand beer as opposed to her favorite Yebisu brand, possibly as a result of the network that the series first aired on complaining that they didn't want to give real-world Yebisu Beer Company unpaid publicity. A brief glimpse is given to what a typical day with no angel attacks must be like at Nerve headquarters for the trio of technicians working on the command level. Makoto Hyuga reads a manga, Maya Ibuki spends her free time reading a romance novel, and Shigeru Aoba reads guitar magazines and strums an air guitar. The backwards roll that Asuka performs at the pool and the giant entry, also known as giant step, she does at the volcano are both actual techniques used in scuba diving for entering the water. At this point, the timeline of events in the series starts to become fuzzy.
No.
The shot looking at Rei from underwater while she is swimming, silhouetted against a circular ceiling light, is similar to the shot from episode 5 of Rei silhouetted against the moon. Foreshadowing.
A little bit.
Asuka makes a valid point about the plot of the series, that Nerve really has no clear idea of where or how angels appear.
Exactly.
It's not that the series isn't adequately explaining to the audience where angels come from, even to the characters in the story. It's something of a mystery. Nerve is stuck in a defensive posture, and if they could go on the offensive against the angels, they would.
That statement kind of oddly reminds me of the Roman Empire at its early days, of where like they were, we're totally not going to attack anybody unless we're provoked. Minus be like, if there was the whim of someone be like doing something, we're totally going to attack defensively.
Second to last, actually.
Yes.
The Avas enter and navigate inside the volcanic magma. The magma is basically melted rock and is very dense, and to place and dip any material, weather resistant or not, at the temperatures of the volcano, which are between 700 degrees and 1300 degrees Celsius, or 12,092 degrees and 2372 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, all I am saying is, I don't care how advanced the technology of these Evangelions is, they shouldn't have been able to do any of the things we saw. The probe, I can believe. The Avas, I cannot.
Yeah.
It was a little too ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, magma and lava is not just hot red water. This
Agreed.
is the only thing I really don't like about this is like, this is obviously just hot red water. This is not actual magma, because otherwise, for one thing, the pressure would not be conducive for these things. And plus, here's my other little minor gripe. The cooling system for both the Ava and Asuka, that are obviously played for laughs. The entire reason they're there.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Asuka should be boiled alive.
Oh yeah.
Because how are they in order for that thing to keep her cool, it has to be actively being cooled. But you're down in, what did I say? 1,000-degree Fahrenheit temperature? You are boiled. I don't care.
Yeah.
You are boiled. I don't care how good the air conditioning is inside an Evangelion. You are boiled. I'm sorry, Asuka. You are schnitzel. The Fly Me to the Moon in this episode is once again sung by Yuko Miyamura, aka Asuka. It is the main version of her with it says entering chorus and a normal orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like this episode, believe it or not. Yes, I have.
No.
I have issues with the red water,
Yes.
the hot red water. But I mean, there's a lot of this is like, okay, they're actually are at least trying to find where these things come from. And yeah, it sucks for Asuka and Shinji to not get to go on their school trip.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, this is the sophomore trip. This is not like us when we were in school and we got a field trip.
Yeah.
This is the cultural touchstone of the Japanese high school student is the sophomore trip. You miss this, you miss the big one.
Yeah.
And they can't go on it because, gosh darn it, they have responsibilities as Ava pilots.
Yes.
I blame Gendo.
Of course, blame Gendo.
He's probably the cause of the second impact.
Not saying a word.
But why do I get the feeling I just guessed something?
No. Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah. Stupid Gendo.
That can be said a lot, I think.
Yes.
Also, I find it interesting that Gendo was in that first episode, major player in that first episode, and we have barely seen him since then.
Oh, yeah, he's
like that.
He's hiding in the background.
It's like what they said in the last episode. If General Ikari were here, you'd all be fired.
That is true. That is so true.
That's
That's like where I work sometimes. It'd be like,
Yeah.
if a certain boss was here, oh my gosh, everybody would be fired or let go.
Right. But no, this was like an interesting episode because you get the disappointment of the kids not getting to go on the school trip.
Yeah.
Asuka volunteering to dive in because she's not getting to go scuba dive in Okinawa. Even though she apparently practiced for this because she knows all this stuff. And she went and bought her Kingdom Hearts-esque swimsuit. I say that because of the giant zipper on the front.
Okay.
That's a Tetsuya Nomura design if I ever saw one.
Okay.
Because that man loves zippers.
Oh my god. I'm going to tell you a story later.
You act like you don't understand what I'm talking about with the zippers.
I don't, but I've got.
I will show it afterwards.
Yeah, I will tell you a story. It's embarrassing, but it's worth. I'm not telling you. I'm telling him later.
Okay. But yeah, I thought I understood exactly what the Ava pilots were going through, not getting to go on their trip. And only for a short bit to be like the most boring week at Nerve headquarters.
Oh yeah.
Only for Masato to go, I'm bored. Let's send a probe down into a volcano and see if we can find an angel.
Yeah.
And we'll waste millions of what I'm assuming are taxpayer dollars to do it.
Of course.
It's like we must attack the Avas directly. Why?
Mm-hmm.
There's only 13 of them. We don't have that many left.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was a nice little fun episode.
Yes.
I think there are things that have done the humans in magma thing better than this.
Yes.
But I mean, it was just a fun episode. It was nice seeing Asuka get her just rewards for her show. What do you call that? Her pride. She gets all the pride that she's been throwing at these people thrown back in her face. One other little minor gripe, and then I'll move on to you. Within the context of this, Asuka's Ava had to have a giant suit, like a diving suit.
Yeah.
A magma diving suit for her to go in to not destroy the Ava itself because
Yes.
it couldn't withstand the heat.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly from what Asuka said in the first episode, granted, Pride might be coloring what she says here because she does tend to exaggerate, we'll say.
A little.
Her Ava is more advanced than Shinji's, technically.
It is.
Yet it's Shinji's Ava that's able to jump down into the magma. Notice I am saying magma because it is below the Earth's surface.
Yes.
Down there and pull her out
Mm-hmm.
and going, now hang on.
Mm-hmm.
If she had to go down in this giant suit and have her giant robot in a giant suit, why can Shinji just jump in for a hot minute?
Because Shinji has plot armor.
I know Shinji has plot armor. I do, though, have maybe a rationalization.
Okay. What is your rationalization?
Rationalization is Asuka had to go down there for a good 2, 3, 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Shinji was only in the magma for maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It just wasn't down there long enough to melt or boil whatever creature is inside that armor
Mm-hmm.
that we saw in the second episode.
Yes.
So, and I'm assuming is true of all the other Avas.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my last little thing.
Oh my
What are your
God.
thoughts?
I'm gonna kind of, I'm trying to remember this one little quote. They're at the hot spring, and it's just something that Shinji said made me laugh.
Also, this is when we learned
Thermal expansion.
Thermal expansion. Yes, this is also when we learned Pen is a boy penguin.
Yeah. Which I found that it's like Shinji's just going like, it's like, yeah, there again, Shinji's a red-blooded boy.
Yes,
I'm gonna say that over and over again because there's certain people in.
You get this is ironically the Hot Springs episode of this anime.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the least hot springs episode of this.
Yes.
Of an anime I've ever watched.
Yes. So
It's like-
be like you have this hot spring scene where it's like, oh, here's the soap. He throws it over and
it hits Asuka in the head.
Allegedly in the head.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
We don't actually get to see this.
No.
We just get to see the next scene where everything is conveniently placed,
yes.
where you don't see anything except a scar going across Masato's chest.
Yes. Which she
That
says
she got
came
in the
from,
second
an
impact.
Yes.
My theory: the impact caused a herd of Pen's pals to rampage
and attack
and,
Masato.
and one of them happened to attack Masato. Actually, it's Pen that actually attacked her, and that's why he feels he's living with her now, because now he's like somehow maybe thinks, I don't know. This was going somewhere and I lost it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a theory. A cellcast theory.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye, Matt Pat, because he's no longer going to be on YouTube.
I saw that.
Which there's so many other people leaving YouTube right now, which is crazy. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, I thoroughly enjoy this episode. Again, it's more of these whimsical kind of a story filler, but it's not really a filler.
Mm-hmm.
The fact to be like you have Shinji and Asuka don't like each other, but they do like each other, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's done done so well. It's you get the ridiculousness of the Magna dive, or to parody the classic song from the band Rio, Magna dive. But yeah, it's a great episode. There again, Shinji has plot armor, so he literally can just plunge into magma and grab Asuka.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like we get another reference to where Masato and Asuka are talking, where Asuka says something, so you know my past, you know what happened. It's like, yeah, but this is a new beginning. And yeah, let's just wave into that when that comes up. It's
hint, hitch, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, a little bit. It's good. It's good. It's dark. It's deep. And
maybe the scar is Ryoji's fault. Because Ryoji is that guy's name.
Yeah, Ryoji.
Yeah, Ryoji. Maybe it's his fault.
Maybe.
Maybe that's why they're no longer a couple.
Maybe. But she said it was from the Second Impact. So we will discover that
We'll get
later.
there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there. But overall, be like, this is a good episode. We discover more things about the characters, what's going on, a little bit of Kuroji, who I always love as a character. Am I saying his name right?
It's either I have to look at it again because I wanted to say it was Ryoji.
Yeah,
I think it starts with an R.
Ryoji.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, either or. Be like, it's a great episode. The only Ava we do see Ava Unit 2 and Ava 1, but it's really more of a character piece.
Yeah.
It's character piece.
The angel we see is interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and they are at least letting the pilots in on at least some information.
Yeah, that's true.
Though not the fact that Ryoji took one of those embryos in already
Yeah.
with no explanation of what's going on there that they called Adam.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Yeah. So it's a great episode. I can't wait to get into more because it just gets better and better from here.
Mhm.
To me, it gets better and better.
Right. So yeah, next week we are looking at episodes. Not in front of me.
Episode 11 with Into Darkness.
In the Still Darkness
Mm-hmm.
and A Miracle's Worth.
Mm-hmm.
So join us next week for that. You got anything else before we cut out of here for the evening?
Yeah, we'll be recording in a couple of days. So
Yeah, very quickly.
yeah, 'cause
so-
you're going out of town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if you see us Monday.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the meantime, this has been Drew,
This is Jacob.
and we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His letterboxd page at ggeorge759. His Twitter at ggeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming. On YouTube at Cellcast. On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Because if you don't dance something, scuba dive in magma.
It's like, man, this is really watery magma.
It's not as, it's very watered down.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's not actually magma.